short series of videos on Excel VBA. So what I'm going to do it from though is it's going to be from the perspective of someone who knows their way around Excel a fair bit, and also that you know a bit about programming in general. So to start off with, I've just got a fairly basic data set that you'd often receive in the workplace where you've got gaps in the data is not really organized in any clean way, and you've got to clean it up and get some information out of it. So to start off with, I'll just put in some name ranges. So I'll call this destination data, and that's for columns A to J. And then just over here, I'll name a, did I just stuff it up? Yes, I did. So just go to name manager. There's that. Let's go over here and let's start again. So source data, and over here is going to be the destination data. Okay, then we just want to go to the developer ribbon, and if you don't see the developer ribbon, just go to options, customize the ribbon, and make sure that that is checked. And then you just go to VBA and insert a module. So here's something I prepared earlier. This is just the different types of code blocks in VBA. You can have a function or a sub, short for sub procedure, and they can be private or public. The main difference is a function returns a value, whereas a sub procedure does not. Also, the advantage of a public function is that it can also be used as a formula. So if I come here, put that there, curly brackets on the end, and you'll see it's returned the return value. So yeah, just another thing. This is the equivalent of return true in a lot of other languages. Here you've got to actually assign the name of the function the return value. In sub-procedures, the advantage of a public sub-procedure is that it can be included in the list of macros that the client, I don't know if you call this front end the client, but the list will be available in this list of macros. The macro will be available in this list of macros. Okay, so that's the different kinds of code block in VBA. Okay, moving on. So I'll just grab what I've got here. So I just want to demonstrate the two different ways you can program, you can select ranges within VBA. So here, I guess, is probably more of a traditional way of doing it, but not necessarily the correct way, as you'll see. You can see that the source, that variables been declared as the source data and destination data. They've both been declared as ranges. So the source data, what it gets assigned is looking at this workbook object, going to the sheet we were just looking at, and looking at the range that we named as source data and assigning it to that variable. The same with destination data. And then just looping through the source data, the rows, and going to the number of rows in the source data, I'm assigning internally the range A1, A2, A3, etc., just looping through and assigning that to source cell variable. So if I just run that by inserting a breakpoint and then just running this, you will see I'm missing a window here. No. Locals window. Oh, No, there it is. Okay, so just in the locals window, you will see with source data, no, source cell we want to look at, source cell, if it'll open for me. It's jammed up. I'll just give it a second and hopefully it will unjam for me. Okay, you can see here that in any of these cells, all I want to really look at is the value within the cell. But instead, what's getting assigned to this variable is the actual cell itself, not just the value. So in the cell itself, it's made up of heaps of different stuff. As you can see, this massive list here. I don't need to use any of this information. All I'm really after is the value. So if I stop that, come down a bit. So you can see here, I'm pretty much doing the same thing, but I'm assigning it, I'm declaring the variables as variant, which is, loosely typed, I guess. And I'm also just getting out the values from these ranges. So you can see up here, it's the entire range. Here, it's the range.value. And if you come down, if I just put a code block here and press F5 to run that, you can see instead now source data, all it's got is just the text value. So I'll just delete out this so we can do a bit of a time comparison. This, we'll see how long using just the range takes to run. So you can see here I've got debug print now, before and after the for loop here, and what have we got? 8 seconds. So that's not too bad actually. 8 seconds for that. And we'll just hit F5 on this one here. All you need to do is put the cursor in and hit F5, and you can see here it took, I think that was even less than a second. So you can see the time advantage of using variants and to getting this information out into here as a two-dimensional array. That's something also I didn't quite show, I'll just quickly show, is that source data here you can see is a two-dimensional array, which is a lot cleaner to work with.